going to do it. Take me to court martial me. I'll be like, I'm letting him go. You know what I mean? That's crazy, you know?
Yeah, man, that's just,
yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know, man. I don't even have dogs. Like, I don't have pets, but I was more a fish guy, but I have a heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you just don't.
All animals.
You're more of a fish guy.
Even the fish, man, they got a heart too. Like, shit, dude.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true.
I
had dogs when I was a kid, but, you know, like.
Fish have it hard as fuck too, dude.
It's true, man.
People neglect fish. It's shitty. It's like all animals. Some of them get really bad.
It's true.
I had those sucker fish. It's about the only thing I could keep alive.
Oh, the Plecos. Yeah.
Because they'd eat all the bad stuff until there was so
exactly.
much.
They have a function, you know?
Yeah. And then there was too much for them to keep up, and they just went, I'm out. All right, we ready?
Yep, anytime.
All right. Hi, welcome to the Pints Polishing Podcast. My name is Marshall Hill, and I'm your guide as we journey through the car care industry. You can find me on most platforms at Total Auto Solutions. If you're on TikTok, find me at Detail Supply App. Best way to get in touch, though, shoot me a text direct, 918-800-1188. Joined today by Greg Masterson. You can find him at Masterson's Wax on most platforms. If you're on TikTok, he is at Masterson's Car Care. Best way to get in touch, shoot him a call or a text, 562-335-2053. Also joined today by Shawn from OrbisX. You can find Shawn at OrbisX Inc. on most platforms. Best way to get in touch with Shawn, shoot him an email, shawn@orbisx.ca. Gentlemen, let us start by, I am going to be enjoying today. I didn't know we had an original Mexican lager. I thought we only had Mexican lagers.
Mexican-American.
Apparently, Chihuahua is the original Mexican-American lager. I don't know. We got Tex-Mex, and I guess we got Mexican food. Now we have American Mexican lagers.
Let's taste it. Does it taste small and annoying?
It tastes a little bitter, kind of.
Because I'm drinking Great Dane IPA. It's big and strong and bold.
Great Dane IPA. All right, I like it.
Today, Greg is enjoying the first pumpkin spice latte of the year.
Are you a pumpkin? You go in? Is that you love pumpkin spice?
No, actually, this is probably the first one I've had in like 3 years. But I was like,
oh, no way.
Somebody mentioned. I was like, pumpkin spice, motherfucker. Usually I just go straight espresso because we have one here. But I was like,
nice.
Let's feel.
I do the coffee creamer that they make. You can buy at the grocery store. Have you ever gotten the Starbucks creamer? I buy it because when you look at the back ingredients, it's everything I can read. You go to the ingredients of other creamers, and it's like, shit, I don't know what half that crap is. So, all right. So, Shawn and I wanted to formally tell you congratulations, Greg.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
On the baby.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Shawn was out partying this weekend, apparently, and you were out having a baby. I was the only one doing normal shit, I guess.
Yeah.
Cleaning garages, trying to cook some stuff, have a beer every once in a while,
Yeah, well, my babies aren't babies anymore, so I get to roam around now.
Hey, you got lucky. I'm just very tired. I'm very exhausted.
Yeah. So Shawn and I wanted to give you what not to do as a father. I'm sure everybody gives you opinions on what to do. So we wanted to start off by saying congrats.
Thank you.
Here's what's not to do as a father. For me, the number one is don't use the butt paste. Like you might be tempted. My daughters had all kinds of rash. And so we had this special butt paste that we would get. And, here in Oklahoma, it can get pretty hot. You can get, anybody ever got that a little butt itch? And, sometimes rash. You get that chafing down below. You ever get the chafing? No chafing? Well, in the Midwest, we get chafing. So that butt paste actually works really well. I tried it one day and it works amazing on it, but you'll get so addicted to it that you'll use it. And then it's time for your son, right? Time for your son to have butt paste. My daughters one time didn't have butt paste, and I got the look at like, what did you do? I'm like, hey, I had to use it. It was so good. Shawn, what's your advice on not to do as a father?
Yeah. As a different, hard to top butt paste. So, so my biggest piece would be, I've got two girl children, so it's a little different, my struggles that I've had to deal with. But what I would say is the biggest thing is don't, and this might sound weird, but don't take everything from them. And what I mean by that is our daughters used to chew food, not finish it, and bring it to my wife as if it was some sort of gift and be like, here, mommy, and she felt compelled to eat it to make them happy. And so my biggest advice is, you can make them happy in a million other ways. You don't have to subject yourself to every little thing. So that kind of stuff is, I mean, you don't strike me as the type to do that anyways, however, but yeah, so avoid that.
No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. See? Yeah. And the biggest thing, just don't drop them. They're aside from that, kids are pretty simple, so it's, but you're going to feel tired.
We got this new thing off Amazon. It's based off the Mandalorian thing. It carries the baby and it hovers.
What?
Yeah.
Seriously?
No, I'm just fucking with you guys.
Oh, okay, I was like, I'm about to go check Amazon. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
You had me for a second. At first, I thought it was like a satchel or something. I was like, yeah, I've seen those. And you're like, it carries them and it hovers. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Somebody really came out with that? Like, oh, man. Like,
well, I've seen those
indoor
blimps. Have you seen those that people have the remote control that flies around inside the house? It's like a little blimp kind of thing. I thought maybe you had something like that. You could bring the baby like room to room, or baby starts crying. You're like, get out of here.
All right. Wow. So another thing that happened this weekend was Mobile Tech Vegas 2021. Now, I went to Mobile Tech Vegas 19, was completely shocked at how few people were there, especially, brands that were only an hour away. So many people that should have been there weren't. It was a big time for us. We started recording live from Mobile Tech. That was the first expo where we took a booth and began to record episodes and had a lot of fun. And that kind of is what resulted in a lot of sort of the community and everything we developed in the community with Mobile Tech. We put out a couple weeks ago why we weren't going to be going to Mobile Tech Vegas, pretty much because people had all backed out of Mobile Tech Orlando, and then the SDC was a flop, and we didn't think that it would be a turnout. And unfortunately, in talking with Sheldon and Mobile Tech, they weren't excited about it either. But they were going to press on and keep going. A lot of sad feelings on turnouts. Greg, I know you have been pretty vocal about what your feelings have been around expos, and especially as the last one available is going to be SEMA, but Apex has now come out with mask mandates. Will SEMA also go mask mandates? And there's plenty of people already saying, I'm out. I'm not even going to SEMA.
So let's talk about the release of that. So SEMA and Apex both released something, and I think you missed out on something there, Mr. Marty. SEMA says that the show is going on. They're going to have to go by all regulations of the state of Nevada for whatever it is. Now, I was talking to a good friend of mine, Tommy, who's a detailer over there right now. He runs a little store. It's called Angel Wax, little tiny shop, sells great shit.
Tommy's he was on the community pub a couple weeks ago.
He runs this little shop over there. He sells good stuff and cool guy. And he was telling me that, it's just the masks over there. Everything has to have the mask right now. Okay. Now, they understand that. Everybody understands that. Might have to go with the masks over there. But the Venetian, the company owns the Venetian, where the Apex is at, which is a completely different show. They are requiring either negative COVID tests 72 hours before or vaccination proof to enter.
That's what it was. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
To enter the show. So how many people will be there because of that?
Well, and how many detailers? Because I think there's a lot of detailers that, we kind of pride ourselves on being the rough guys out and about, and we're the ones that are making shit happen. And I don't know too many detailers that have gotten vaccinated. It's sort of been, I think, kind of something they've prided themselves not in doing.
I personally don't. I think the level is low, but not just that. There's a lot of international people that travel from around the globe for the Apex and the SEMA show. A big amount of people. And I truly believe, man, that a lot of these international people are not going to be able to attend.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was talking to Julio over at Buff and Shine. They were on the community pub a couple of weeks ago, and asked him his thoughts on SEMA, and that's exactly what he said. He's like, listen, you're automatically 50 to 60% down because there will be no. You said that, right? We've talked about this a couple months ago. Like, it's been a thing that we've put out. Like, it's absolutely right. It was a great insight that you had. Julio had the same insight. Like, automatically 50% down because there will be zero international travel. It's not worth them quarantining and then going back in quarantine. I mean, imagine that's a complete month of no work, strictly and just quarantining. So
yeah. It's bad. And I think that I don't know how many people are going to be there.
Yeah. He was saying he thinks it'll go all the way down to probably 20 to 30%
of the original. So it's going to be 70% down.
Yeah.
That is a big thing. I truly believe this has good and this has bad things for SEMA. There's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad. What's the bad? You can't go there and make deals. You can't go there and close deals. They're not making business. Like, it's a business event. You go there to make business. But as me and you know, and everybody who's been to SEMA, there's a lot of people there who aren't even supposed to be there. They just want to go there for the party. And so they're there with maybe somebody else's badge or like a borrowed badge or something, a whole lot of people. And those people, I think, are going to be cut out. So it's also going to limit the amount of people that go there. So that means maybe more serious people will be going to SEMA. It won't be as, like I like to say, a big cock fest whose cock's bigger. Check out the cock.
It's a chance, maybe, but then is it going to be worth it for those brands to shell out the $100? I mean, there's no way that they're going to still do the $100,000, $200,000 boost, right? Like, that would be the most idiotic thing to do as a company.
I wouldn't.
With maybe only 20 to 30% of the people there.
I mean, I wouldn't. Like, I'd rather, not have a booth there because I don't see great ROI on it. It's mainly people tell you got to be at SEMA because you got to be there. Because if you're not there, you're square.
Well, and the other thing too, what might deter some people from going to SEMA is let's look at what we're already seeing across right now. Like, what is your gas prices there in California? $5. Yeah, we're seeing posts from 4 up to 5. We haven't seen anything up over 5 though. So
yeah, it's expensive. And just think about SEMA right now. It's very hard to travel. Like, airplanes getting canceled here and there and everywhere, people getting stuck. I mean, I just feel I'm blessed. I live in Los Angeles. I literally just hop in the car. 3.5 hours later, I'm in Vegas. 3.5 hours later, I'm home. And it was literally like just a one tank journey, half a tank there, half a tank back, But
the other part, like, have you seen food prices? So this past weekend, so what I did is I spent a fuck ton of money strictly on food, right? Like, go out to eat, you're $60, $70, go to the grocery store, you're another couple hundred, go out to eat, you're another 50, 60. Like, I looked back at my weekend, I swear we spent $400 just on some food, and we got to go back to the grocery store again. Like, it's insane the way food prices have gone skyrocketing.
The prices of everything is going up. I mean, we've talked about this on several other podcasts, Marty, if people have listened to us. We're in a hyperinflation, man. It's a deep hyperinflation. It's really, really big. And, a lot of things are going up in price. And detailers, they should be going up in price too, but something that's good, because I know you brought that up to me, it made me think, what can I do to help with this problem? Because people always ask me, Greg, are you guys going to raise your prices? I get that question a lot right now. But I actually just think it's a better thing to give all of the Pints and Polishing people a discount. Look, it doesn't work right now though. Oh no, there we go. The Pints and Polishing, we're going to give you guys 20% off and free shipping over $99 with this code on mastersonswax.com. So if you guys want, there we go. Shawn, welcome back. If you guys,
his computer had to restart.
I know, it's crazy. If you guys want to get discount, go enter the code PINTS on mastersonswax.com and get 20% off. And that way you can help fight hyperinflation some way, right? Because things are going up in price. And we had a couple of detailers that were coming into our store, and they were telling me that other stores are out of stuff.
Yeah.
Tire shines. We're stocked up. We're full. You guys see behind us. We're fully stocked.
Solvents that continue to go up. There's multiple people having problems with containers. Not only it's the metal containers still sitting in shipyards, or just like plastic gallon containers. We saw there was a big release yesterday from a national brand that they're raising 10% across the board.
Who was that?
We're hearing numbers of 15 to 20%. Some brands are going to have to increase. So, we're going to be looking anywhere from 10 to 20%, multiple brands going up.
Who announced that?
On their cost. CarPro.
Well, let's just be straightforward. CarPro is not a USA brand.
Oh. Imagine their cost of getting their products over here. And we talked about shipping containers. I mean, either way, there'll be U.S. companies too. I mean, you got Southeast Asia companies that are distributed out of another state and country, that come here. You've got brands coming from all different parts of the world. You're right. There'll be plenty of, American companies that will raise their prices too. It's just everything, as we said, inflation, everything is going to keep going up and up and up. Gas prices won't just stay at $5. You go to get a steak, it's not just going to stay at $20 or $30 or $40, whatever choice of steak you get, right? It's gonna this is only fall of 2021. Yeah. Right. I mean, when does it stop? There's nobody knows.
What bothers me, I'll tell you this, I've noticed, this is the one thing that's really bothering me. And everybody that's going to SEMA will see this year, is that I don't mind the price increase. Yeah, things go up, things go down. It's how it is. But I'd rather have a company raise their price and just raise it up. And instead of adding more stuff on or writing a letter saying, we're sorry, we're raising our prices, just fuck it. Just do raise it. Just do it. Yeah. It's because these companies don't have the big enough balls to say, I'm just raising it up. Why is this more expensive? Because it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You're either going to buy it or not buy it.
Shawn, what have you seen in Canada? What's gas prices up there?
So it's much more than it should be, considering that we have a ton of gas here. But we send it to you guys to get it refined, and then we buy it back like the good Canadians we are. So yeah, exactly. So the prices have gone down. Oh, also, thanks, by the way. It took me a minute. My computer decided today was a good day to do an update. So anyways, I'm on my phone now. I'm in my garden right now. But yeah, I was doing some gardening. So I've seen prices for most things. To be honest, our gas is kind of stabilized, because during the pandemic, it went down significantly. It dropped maybe 50-60%. Because our government decided they were going to subsidize it to kind of help people win some votes and so on and so forth. And then now prices went right back to what they were, plus a little bit extra, right? So obviously, I mean, they got to get their money. But honestly, gas prices have been just steadily increasing. It's nothing, I wouldn't say it's even pandemic related, just going up. But the biggest thing for me is, people get up in arms about the price of gas and this and that, but they'll go into a store and buy a bottle of water, 500, ml or whatever, and they'll pay twice as much for that than they will for, a gallon of gas. And it's like, it's just where people's heads are at. So I don't know, like me, I haven't really noticed anything significant, but I don't drive a lot. So if I drove for work or something, maybe I would, feel it a little more, get angry at the pump. But I've seen the price of other things go up a lot more, like lumber, building materials. But it seems like we were kind of due for a price increase already anyways for a lot of things here anyways. So didn't strike me as odd. And I mean, I raise my prices every year on all of our businesses. So it's just the natural course of things, things continually, cost more. And we raise our prices not due to factors of like, our costs went up or something like that. We raise our prices because that's just the natural course of our business. The whole pricing thing is a myth. Like we when we start each of our companies, we start at usually a lower price. And then as you slowly start to realize price is a myth, and you realize, well, what I'm really selling is value, that's where we start to price things accordingly. So like I have a marketing company, we don't charge an hourly rate. A lot of our competitors charge an hourly rate, but we do value-based pricing. We assess the project and we charge accordingly. If it takes us less time to do it, we're not going to penalize ourselves because of our skill and experience by charging less just because it took less time. It took 18 years, for example, to get the skills to get there. to do it faster for you. So you're going to pay a premium for that, period. Yeah. But so anyway, I haven't seen too much of a change here, except for things like raw materials, like lumber and things like that.
Cool. Yeah. So thinking especially, let's think of it as a mobile detailer, because you're right. If you don't drive a lot, if you're a shop guy and you're just going in and back and forth in a shop, right, your gas expenses aren't going to be massive. But if you're mobile, wow, your gas prices just went way up, which is a big cost to your business. If you're a shop and you're buying some stuff from people that are raising prices, if you're bringing in, here's the other expense that people aren't thinking of, right? If I'm used to paying $13 an hour, but the people can get unemployment for just a little bit less and not have to work, then I don't really have a good value at $13. I got to raise it to 15, 16, 17. You know, there's plenty of companies starting to raise their minimum wage, hitting almost to that $20 an hour range. Shop owners, people that are trying to think about bringing in people, wow, that's a massive expense. Your labor's always more expensive than your supplies and anything else.
100%.
It should
100%.
always be that you spend your money on labor more than you spend on anything else. But we start getting into all these different things that here's this expense going up, here's this other expense going up. Why don't you guys share an out of the box idea of how we can help navigate through this? For me, my out of box idea was, well, it's from something I did. So in the last recession, that 10, 11, 12 was when it really kind of hit us, and gas prices soared just like they are now. I was driving all around the state of Oklahoma trying to sell product, right? I'd started it out of this Ranger. It was a S10 Ranger, right? And it had green clean, and we were mobile detailing out of it. And I was driving that and mobile detailing. Well, you start putting drums of chemical in a small little Ford Ranger, it doesn't do so well going down the highway. And I was doing this, and I was like, okay. I need to get a truck. So I bought a Nissan Titan. Great. Well, not great on gas mileage compared to a Ranger. So what I did was I got some stuff from, different websites, put it together with a buddy, and we converted my truck to CNG. So while everybody else was at $4 and $5 a gallon, I was paying 80 cents and was able to keep my business going forward because I thought outside the box instead of just traditional ways and thought of something that maybe I could do. So let's do this, Shawn. Is there an out-of-box idea or some way that you think that anybody that cleans cars could begin to change the way they're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to touch on that too, I think there's also the in the box idea too that a lot of people skip over, which is if prices are going up for you, you're not alone. They're going up for your customer as well. And pricing isn't a you problem. It's the customer's problem. And so what you have to do is break that barrier and convince them of the value instead of focusing on price. Usually someone that's like weaker at sales, they try to focus on price and they use that as the selling point. But the out of the box thinking is to change your conception and your thinking about price and realize that that's something the customer may come with, but you just have to get really good at battling that and pushing the value and closing it. So I've studied a lot of different closing like courses, and I won't get into names in particular, but if someone wants to know, they can email me. I'll send them a list. But there's some really good stuff out there for how to push that value on the customer and transfer that feeling so that it doesn't matter what the price is. You're going to find a common ground between what they're willing to spend to get that feeling of, they're getting value. But some out of the box stuff we're doing, because we do have a mobile unit. So we do mobile windshields, for example. We don't do mobile detailing, but we deal with the same kind of issues. So what we did for that is we just scaled back on our radius, and then we went heavier on the marketing of people that were close to us. So we're still getting mobile clients, but we're just not going as far. And then we just introduced across the board. And as Greg said, like we had the balls. We didn't do a big announcement like, oh, we're going to start charging, $2.50 per mile. We just did it. And someone would ask for a job, and we just told them this is, what it's going to cost for the convenience of us coming out to see you to do this service. And then we would push them on, how fast we can do it, how great it's going to be, our warranty for the windshield, that kind of stuff. But what we did is we just ramped up our efforts in a smaller 10-mile radius instead of what we were doing before was trying to control the whole city. And then we just realized we'll just put all of our efforts, nearby. So it may sound like something that's, that's simple to do, but what we had to do was think outside of the box for, okay, how are we going to ramp up our marketing efforts more like locally near our shop? And that's where we started looking at the surrounding businesses that were near us, where we were likely to find, commonalities, like other shops that mechanic shops, maybe where they're not doing windshields, still do everything else, partner with them. So we thought outside of the box like that. I always thought if we had a mobile detailing unit, one thing I would do is try and offer like 3 options. 1, you can come to our shop. 2, we'll come to your house. Or 3, we have a central meeting place and maybe work with some shops that aren't doing, certain services, and we work together, but say, hey, I can meet you at this shop. And then we try and arrange, we say, we're only going to be there Tuesdays and Fridays. You control your own schedule. Don't let the customer dictate at all times, and say, we'll be there Tuesdays. And then you try and stack up 5 or 6 cars. So you're making one trip, wash them all in someone else's shop, throw them a little butter their way so they're happy, and then you're back on the road. So there's ways of doing things like that, and that's how I would tackle it if I was a mobile detailer.
Yeah, smart thinking. All right, Greg, what about you? An out-of-box idea for detailers that are experiencing this massive influx of expenses? What's an out-of-box idea that you think that they could help control it?
You know why I love expenses? The exact word you just said right there, expenses. What? And a lot of people are wondering, why do you like expenses, Greg? Because it's a write-off. That's number one. It's a write-off. Now, I know a lot of mobile detailers, they don't have their business set up properly to be able to take advantage of that, okay? If you are one of the detailers that is listening to this and you have your business in an S Corp or an LLC, heck yeah, you could take advantage of these things right now. And the best thing for me out of the box, right, is just keep hustling more and take all those things that are expenses and just pay for them. And you know what I feel is even better? Pay for them on credit card. I think you should pay for it all on credit card. I'll go ahead and break this down a little bit and I'll explain why. Right now, even though things are going up, there's so many expenses that can be run through your business and to counter all of this stuff. Okay, a good one is PPP. Pretty much every mobile detailer should have been PPP and should have got some sort of PPP for them. And it should have paid their payroll a significant amount of time. And if they were a mobile detailer, they could have taken that PPP and reinvested it into their business because it was actually free money that they could have used. The PPP, if they would have just paid their business expenses, it would have gotten free, written off for free. People got millions on that, okay? Things like that are important, I think. And I think the best out of the box way is to structure your business properly in these times because let's just say Mobile Detailer Jack is detailing, right? Mobile Detailer Jack can write off his gas. He can write off his car, the vehicle. He can write off all the tools and equipment and expenses. If he is an LLC, he can write off him paying himself. He can also take money out of his business, reinvest. There's a lot of advantages to that. I know if people are looking for this and they're looking on info on how to do this, you just watch some videos on how to take your business into an LLC or an S Corp. I feel like that's going to help you in the United States over the next time.
Okay, that's good advice. Appreciate that. I can see what both you guys are saying. Shawn, I muted you just because we get some wind every once in a while. So when you're ready to go again, just unmute yourself. Let me top over to you real quick though, because I'm guessing, is that a Corona? Are you sipping on a Rona? Is that what that is?
So I had a few meetings this morning. Didn't have a chance to go to the store. So I've got Heineken. That's what was in the cooler. So
it's a Heineken.
Yeah, Heineken. It's my wife's favorite. She likes this one. If I was drinking beer, usually I'm a Modelo guy. So yeah, I like Modelo, and I like the Modelo Negro too. is really good. But my favorite's the Modelo like original one. It's really good. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a lighter beer. It's nice. It's from Mexico.
Yeah, put that beer up again. I don't remember seeing I don't remember seeing. Okay. Yeah. That looks good. I was like, Heineken always has a tint to their beer bottle.
Yeah.
And it's supposedly something to do with the way that they do their mixture. And then the way the light comes in the bottle. That's why they have that tint to it. When I saw it, I just saw a clear bottle. I was like, wait a second. Canadian Heineken is different.
Yeah, it's the Canadian version.
Yeah, it's Canadian version. All right. So that was a good out-of-box idea. One of the things we want to talk, though, I know you guys both mentioned some traditional business theories. One thing that some businesses do is they kind of hunker, right? They begin to insulate themselves during troubled times. Greg, you said push yourself out, go harder. Don't, not so much insulate, but go spin and just go aggressive. Shawn, I think you said, go aggressive in marketing.
100%.
It is tough to sometimes keep spending when our expenses continue to go up. Now, the only way to justify what both of you guys are saying is if we understand those two-letter word or two letters, I don't know what you call that, two-letter algorithm? No, not algorithm. Give me a help here.
Analytics, formula, yeah.
No, what is it when you got a word and it means something else?
Oh, like a synonym?
Not sure. P&L is where I was going with. There's two letters that translate into, massive parts of our business.
Acronym.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
So it's an acronym for profit and loss. Our expenses continue to go up, and then we're spending more, so our loss continues to go up. What if our profit stays the same, but our losses continue to go up? That's not a good thing in business. So, why is it important, Greg, when you think of P&L and budget or learning P&L, why is looking at P&L important?
Looking at what he's talking about, everybody's talking about profit and loss, okay? And it's super important to look at profit and loss, where your business is going, where you're spending your money. That's super important. There's only one reason why a business goes out of business, because they ran out of money. That's literally the only reason. They didn't run out of people. Their stuff didn't go obsolete, ran out of money, okay? And business owners really need to think where they're spending their money, if they're spending money. Because if they're not spending their money on their business, Uncle Sam's going to come and tax it. You're going to have to pay tax on it. So you might as well reinvest it in a business. I know this sounds very strange, but if I'm running an auto detailing business, I want to be at a loss like my first 3 years. I want to spend a lot of money and I want to be at a big loss. So that way my tax is low, and I'm not a CPA. Don't listen to my tax advice. This is just what I do. I want to be losing money. Almost.
But you say losing, hold on for a second, because I just want to dumb it down for some people, right? Because you say losing money, but I can't operate a business if I'm super small and I'm just me out cleaning cars at a loss, right? No,
you can't do that. But everything should be going together towards that. You should be, if you're a mobile detailer and you really want to go hard, you should be writing everything off, right? You should be writing everything off. I'll give you an example. Let's say it's one guy mobile detailer. I believe that you should be writing off your van and you should be writing off all of your tools and your equipment. And I personally think also that you should rent a shop. And I think if you're young and you're a guy, you should be living in that shop too and writing off your living.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I think you should be doing that. And that's where the loss comes down, because technically your business ends up paying for your lifestyle. Your business should pay for that if you're working all the time, right? And, if you're sleeping at your shop, you're saving a lot of money. That can go invest to your business. Use that to hire an employee. Double down, make more money. There's ways to expand like that. But when it comes down to taxes, like if you show profit, you're going to pay money on that. That's a big way. I would rather run it through my business again.
All right, Shawn, what do you think of with P&L and why it's important for people to look at it?
Absolutely. So those metrics are really important in terms of knowing how your business is doing to make sure that it's actually growing, because there's only two states for a business. It's either growing or it's slowing down. Those are the two states. Most people experience the slowing down part, and it's because they don't do exactly what Greg's saying, is that they don't go on the offense. So you need to go on the offense at all times for your business. From day one is most important, because you're going to be reinvesting that money. You're not going to be paying as much taxes on it. So it sucks when you don't get to spend it on yourself. Oh, I want to buy myself these new shoes or whatever, stuff like that. But you have to realize that, look at this long term, and where do you want the business to be? And it's like a plant. You have to, nurture it. You have to fertilize it. You have to do all of these things. The money's much better there than going to, pay for some potholes in your city by way of, them taking the money. That's if it even makes it that far from once they take it. But I think it's important to look at these numbers daily so that you understand where you're spending your money, and don't be scared of expenses. They're going to happen. But just understand where you're spending it so you can spend it in the right places. Get an accountant, get a business license, be registered. Absolutely. Because you can take advantage of a lot of programs that are out there. You can, these tax incentives that you can get that are going to reduce the amount of tax you have to pay. So more of your gross will go back into fueling your business. So that's why that's important. But the biggest thing too is focus more on the sales side. If people spent as much time and effort learning how to be proper salesmen and women, they wouldn't even worry about their expenses. It would be like, I spend maybe 5% of my time looking at expenses. 95% of my time is on selling and hustling. That's where the time is spent, because that's what's going to generate that cash flow, and cash flow is king. Without the cash flow, your business is going to be dead in the water.
Yeah. Shawn, I'll comment on that for Marty. One thing a lot of people tell me, this is the craziest thing. I do not spend any money on my business unless it makes me more money. I won't even spend a dime. Everybody laughs. They come into my office. I have a pretty cool office, right? Most of the stuff in my office is secondhand, believe it or not. The desk, the printer, the filing cabinet, all of the furniture, the chair I'm sitting in, secondhand, bought off Craigslist, right? I bought it all, right? Because all that stuff in there doesn't make money. The only thing that's in my office that's brand new is the computer. That's it. And everybody's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, like, why would I spend this money if it wasn't going to make more money? And people got to think about that. What are you spending your money on? And that's why I personally think if you're a detailer, you should be buying the best products that you could buy. You shouldn't be buying little powder to mix up to make carpet cleaner. You should be buying some really good, high quality carpet cleaner and a great tool to do it. And you should be putting it all on the credit card and getting all the points from it and using those points to offset the expenses from your business. And I tell people, everybody, put everything on the credit card for your business. Who cares if your company goes out of business? It's the credit card's money. It just disappears. Who gives a shit? Oops.
It's kind of entitled to your social security number, because most people don't. Most people aren't able to get a credit card tied to their business EIN.
They can't. And it's very easy to do. A lot of people can do it. Anybody can do it. As long as you have a good personal credit score of like over 650, you can get your business a credit card for your business. All you need is that EIN. And actually, you don't even need to have a LLC or an S Corp to do that. I've seen people get like $50,000 credit lines on their business with no LLC, no S Corp, just by setting up the EIN and setting up a few things, and maybe at 2 credit cards later, they got $50,000 credit line.
Yeah, but in general, the regular guy, right? We've said it's the easiest industry to get into. So the regular people that get into the industry, most of them aren't going to get to, I know it, everybody always says, get your EIN, get your stuff set up, get everything legal. Yeah. But at that point, I would say too, a majority, right? Because 650 on a credit score isn't always easy for, people to do, because maybe they haven't been disciplined in the past, and maybe moving forward, they're going to be more disciplined and their credit score will go up. But if they can't, I would say one suggestion I would have would go into a little bit of that and spending money, right? Like one thing that was given to me early on was some advice that, hey, if you get cash, keep your cash. Don't go put it in the bank. You put it in the bank, it gets tracked. Well, you go, hey, I got expenses and I get it. Use your cash to pay for stuff that can't be, quote unquote, written off, right? So when I go to the gas station, right, I don't pay at the pump. I go inside. So if I need something, I grab it.
But that could be written off, right?
I put it all together with the $20 on pump, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I keep my cash for if I want to go entertain my girlfriend, want to do something personal, want to go get something, go do something for myself, something that can't be, quote unquote, spent on the business, right?
Okay.
So that's just a little bit of my advice for how to handle your cash, things to do with it in case you don't have a credit card that you can max out and go all the way in, is don't spend your cash on things in the business, spend it on your personal life.
Yeah, the better way I do it is make your business your personal life. If you're 20 to 30, I believe in making your business your lifestyle.
Right, but hold on, because this is where it gets in a lot of those gray areas. And like you said earlier, we're not accountants, we're not tax people. Go speak with somebody. And even in the tax people will have different percentages. Hey, you can only spend so much on your own personal food. Hey, you can only spend so much on this. You definitely got to have a big gray area. You got to speak with somebody if you're going to try and do a write-off of your vehicle or a write-off of your house or anything, quote unquote, office, right? I mean, there's all, am I going to do mileage? Am I going to do all, I don't know, right? So go speak with somebody with all the expenses of where they go. We're just here giving our advice from, three dudes. So you're right, Greg. You can max things out. You can go into go speak with a financial advisor, somebody that does taxes, somebody that does bookkeeping, let them put you on that path. And then stay.
And that conversation might cost something, but it'll be worth it in the long run because you're going to get the right information. Like here, for example, I talked to our accountant when we were purchasing our new car, and I said, "What's better?" Because it's being bought under the business, even though it's our personal vehicle. We do use it. I'm the CEO of most of the companies, and I'm transporting myself. So no matter where I go, I am the company. So I said, it's being purchased under the company. How much can I claim? Should we buy it outright or what should we do? And they said, don't put anything more than 30% down because the first year, how it works here, first year, you can only claim a maximum 30%. And then it gets amortized 30% the next year and then 30% the final year with whatever balance is left. So if I was to have bought it outright, I'm literally just throwing away that extra money. It's not going to help me at all in my taxes. But if I also didn't put down 30%, let's say I only put down 10 or 20%, I was still missing out on that extra 30. It would just disappear. The government says, well, you can never claim that now. And I didn't know that without talking to a CPA. So it can be worth it. It'll help your business.
Yeah, and I'll give you a good example, Shawn, on that one. It's crazy because, people are listening to that. Shawn's in Canada. Me and Marty are in the United States, right? And you were saying that the laws are different on the writing off. In America, in the United States, there's a little section in the tax law that says that if your vehicle is over 6,000 pounds gross vehicle weight, that you can write off 100% of the vehicle the first year. Okay.
No way.
Yes. Now, a lot of people, some people don't talk about this, but when you go to places where there's a lot of business owners or wealthier people, you'll notice around there that there's a lot of G-Wagons being driven. In California, where I live, shitload of G-Wagons, right? And the reason a lot of business owners buy G-Wagons is because it's over the 6,000 pound gross vehicle weight. So you can buy a G-Wagon and write off the entire G-Wagon the first year. So if you're a detailer out there that's listening to this in the United States, why are you driving a piece of shit van? Why don't you go out and buy a freaking G-Wagon, write it off the whole first year, and tow a little trailer behind it? That's the best way to do it.
I don't know that Mercedes would let them walk out the dealership with it. I don't think so.
Yeah, dude, go out there. If you got a good credit score and you're a detailer out there, get rid of the van you're using. Go buy a G-Wagon. Write it off the whole first year. Boom. Let's say it's $150,000 G-Wagon. Write it all off the first year. Boom. I'm now $150,000 negative. Okay. My business can make $100,000 that year and I'd still be negative. Great. Right. And then tax comes off. The next year you pay no taxes. You got a full write-off on a car. And now every detail job you go to, people are like, dude, you detail a G-Wagon? Yeah, boss. Let's do your car too. You know,
right.
That's just a theory you could do.
A theory.
It is a theory. All right. It definitely is a theory. I like it, Greg. Not too often do we get, hey, go buy a G-Wagon. So I like it. All right. So, Greg, something else you've been pretty vocal about, as we've talked about multiple times here, has been, you know, what do I charge, right? That's kind of been the number one question that you see through the industry. Definitely, we see it quite a bit through the groups. And I mean, especially now that we're talking about gas prices outrageous, we're talking about chemicals starting to go up 10 to 20% from certain brands, you know, expenses are going to continue to go up. So, you know, how do I now, if I've been concerned about what do I charge people, I've been concerned with people, you know, questions of when I tell people my rate and they go, oh, wow, I can get it down the street at such and such. Like, so how do I now start to charge people if my expenses are all going up 10 to 20%?
Well, you could raise it up 10 to 20%. You could also work more, but you need to adjust by how much you want to make in the year. And it's not that much. Let's just say that you want to make $100,000 a year. We've talked about this, right?
Don't buy a G-Wagon then, because they're 150. You won't be able to afford it.
That's all right. You buy it, you finance it out. Boom, you're paying for it over 5 years, but it's all written out the first 5 years. It's freaking great. And then after 2 years, just sell it. Get another G-Wagon, right? You know, every business has to operate off debt. But let's say that you want to make $100,000 a year. We've talked about this. You work 260 some days a year, but you make $400 a day. You're at $100,000 a year. Now, let's just say that prices are going up 20% across the board. And now we need to make $120,000 a year. Okay. How many working days? 2022. Let's find out. I'll tell you this real quick. How many working days? It's 261. That's what we're going by. So we'll divide that
365 for me, but okay.
365 in America. We were only going by 5 days a week and not working the holiday. That means that you only have to make $60 more in a day, $59.77 in the day to compensate for that 20% increase, and you'll still make the $100,000 a year after your profit increase. You'll probably make more, actually. I'm just going off the gross, right?
So if you upsold one person every 2 days, something for $120, you're there.
No, not even. Only $60.
No, every 2 days.
Oh,
I said every 2 days.
Oh, every 2 days. Yeah. If you just upsold one thing, I would like to do it just every other day for the $60. Just upsell a person that one day. I don't think it's that hard to make $60 more in a day. To upsell one guy $60. It could be an extra job in that week, you know, or it could be an upsell. But it's only $60 a day. It doesn't seem like that much, Marty, you know, to compensate on that.
It's true. So I think 2 things. One is if prices are increasing like that for my cost, then I'm going to increase my prices also, but I'm going to increase it 2 times that amount. And I'm not going to mention that it's a price increase. It's just going to happen. And what we're going to do is add in something. So let's say if my cost on something is going up $25, let's just say it takes whatever we're using for that detail, whatever we're doing for that tint job, whatever it is, it's going up $25 per job. Let's just say. So I'm going to increase our price $50 and I'm going to add in something that cost me $8. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to find something and I'm going to offer that as a new package. And that's what gets pushed out there. And then as they become comfortable with that and they become comfortable with the pricing, I'm going to offer my original package at $30 extra only and take away that extra. That's what I'm going to do. So I get people accustomed to the new pricing and then I just scale it back a bit. They think they're getting a deal, but I'm still keeping ahead of whatever the increase is.
Hopefully someone can rewind that and play that because that's some good info. They just need to I think someone's going to be like, let me rewind that and figure out that setup. But that's a good way. That's a good way.
Yeah, it works. That's what we do now. And so we had I rely on windshields a lot because it's actually a lot more competitive where we are than detailing. Because the detailing, we're one of the top shops just because of our reviews and everything. We're just crushing it. But windshields, we were newer in that side of things compared to a lot of the other guys that were really well established. So we had a harder time breaking into that market. So it was super competitive, but my competitors made the fatal mistake of competing on price. So they kept slashing their price slightly lower than ours, slashing their price slightly lower than ours. So what we started doing was advertising really cheap prices, really cheap. And then people would call and we would say, sorry, the ad agency we're using made a mistake. And we would tell them what the real price was. But then what our competitors were doing was seeing our ads. They reduced their prices so much, 2 of them went out of business. They just couldn't continue. So I just waited. And so it was no problem for us. And then we focused on picking up the dealership jobs, which kept us busy on the other end at the price we wanted to. And we just played this little dance game, and they drove themselves out of town. My father always told me, you don't have to be the cheapest in town. Price doesn't even exist. Focus on selling your value and focus on what that means to that customer, because the customer is not calling to spend $150. They're calling to get a detail.
Yeah.
Sell them the detail. Don't sell them the $150.
Yeah. I like that.
There's no shortage of money on this planet. None. They're literally printing it daily. Just ask for it. That's all you got to do. So
I like it, guys. Thanks so much. Great information. Greg, I know you got to run back and are you doing the stopping back by and taking care of the kid, or what's the journey look like for you and the family?
I'm actually not working for the next 60 days I'm just working here and there.
Nice.
Came in to just do some remote work, and we're still doing some great stuff. We're actually completing up the R&D on a new coating system that uses a new type of emulsion that's out there. A lot of the coatings out there, they use a resin emulsion. It's a very old technology. It's from like 2004, 2005, this resin technology. But there's a new type of technology which uses SiO2 emulsion. And we've been working on this for a while. I didn't want to release this out because I felt like I wanted to make sure it was a high performing item, and a high performing piece. So we've been working on this for like 18 months, and I'm finally wrapping that up. So over the next maybe 60 days, I'm actually going to try and bring this project to a completion and bring it out there. So that's all I'm going to be working on for the next 60 days, man. I'm just going to be coming in and doing some stuff here at the Pints and Polishing Podcast.
Nice. Cool. And changing some diapers, the occasional one.
Changing some diapers, yeah.
Changing some diapers.
Definitely, Greg. Don't mess with the butt paste, man. You'll get addicted.
Yeah.
Don't go that way. Just leave it alone.
That's the title of this episode, right? Don't mess with the butt paste.
Don't mess with the butt paste.
Okay, I won't. Don't worry.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for your time, as always. Great information out to the community. We really appreciate everything that you guys do every week. So thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
Hey, still there?
Yeah, still here.
Yeah, awesome. Sorry about the wind. Jeez, I'm gonna have to. I'm at my cabin today, so I didn't really have a choice because one of my friends that lives here, he got called into work. Basically, him and his wife double shifts, and they needed someone to watch their kids. So he said, "Sure." So I got a bunch of kids here screaming and yelling by the pool. I figured it'd probably be better if I went to the garden, and then I was like, "Okay, well, I don't want the garden as a backdrop," so I set up my laptop, and then it reboots itself. Oh my God, man. Just
fun times, right?
Things. Yeah. You got to roll with it, but yeah, I think these are really thought-provoking questions that a lot of people, I hope they tune in and watch it several times to dissect things, because like even little snippets, like where Greg's, I know he makes outlandish statements like the G-Wagon thing, you know what I mean? But if you think of the principles of what he's saying, if someone hears that and they're like, oh, that's a stupid idea, it's a G-Wagon, whatever. But listen to what he's saying. A vehicle over 6,000 pounds. The first thing I'm doing if I'm a detailer is running outside and checking my vehicle to see where I fit on that scale so that I know for the next vehicle I'm going to buy, because there's other vehicles that are 6,000 pounds. Like, so
it's a big vehicle, though. It's a big vehicle, 6,000 pounds.
This is true. Although my old 300, it was all-wheel drive, V6, shouldn't have weighed that much. It weighed 6,000 pounds. And Chrysler, in their infinite wisdom, put a V6 in it. So anytime I went up a hill, you could just hear the engine squealing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It was really struggling. But so that was, what year was that one? I think it was a 2010. I've had like 5 of them now. I love those cars. But it was a V6. I should have got the V8 for that one because the all-wheel drive, they just made it heavy. I remember comparing the weight at the time. My business partner had a 2006 Cayenne, and my 2010 300 weighed more than his Cayenne. And I remember being blown away by that. And that explained why I got such horrible gas mileage. But yeah, but there's some really good info there. If people listen to it and dissect it and use it for their business, you know, so it's good stuff.
Yeah, that's what was surprising the first time I had that talk with him about a year ago. We had him on the episode just to have a chat and talk through some stuff. And I was like, okay, he actually, it is outlandish, but he does have some interesting philosophies. So it has been good.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. And just the whole thinking outside the box thing, like it's so crucial, especially when everyone's in these forums asking the same questions. What you've got now is like in DFM, I think there's like 35,000 people. Listen, I don't know how many of them are legit, but
there you go. That's some of the thing that I've started throwing out to some of the people. I'm like, look at just go into DFM right now. Just go look and look at the comment. Like, look at what people are posting. That's not the way it was 2 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a massive amount of, I don't know if it's bots. I don't know if the people that own it have all these fictitious, I don't know. Like, it's so strange, the type of questions, the way people are asking things. It's the same shit that you find in Auto Geek or any of the other ones. And it's just stupid ass shit. And I'm like, this isn't the way detailing for money was.
It's true. It was not like that. Like, I remember when I joined, there was a lot of the questions, the people that were commenting, the responses, just all of it had a much different feel. And then there was a period of time where I noticed some of the questions were weird, but the responses were still normal. It was still like I recognized some of the names, the faces. Now it's just like the weirdest shit, like on both ends, the comments, the replies, and the questions. And I'm like, geez, this is strange, man. And I don't know if a lot of the legit people jumped ship. Maybe once a Facebook group grows to a certain size, like the robots catch on or something. I don't know what it is. It could be so many things, but yeah, it's a group that I'm in just because I like to help some people, and there are still some that are legit, you know. But I don't know, the way these groups are going. I know my participation in the groups has gone way down, and I feel a lot better about it at the end of the day too, you know. So it's
well, I find it to be. Like you said, you got to go in. I don't do it just out of the, Mother Teresa of my heart. I go in to leave.
There's always a angle for sure.
Yeah. Like I'll go in it to give value so that somebody, maybe they'll click on my profile. Maybe they'll click on my business page, like maybe they'll follow that rabbit trail if I leave good enough information. But the information that people are asking for now is just ridiculously stupid. And it's like, what power washer PSI do I'm like, why is this in detailing for money? Like, who is this guy? Like, it used to be the people that had been in it for 4 or 5 years, they'd been seasoned. But I had said on Justin Lobato's podcast, Justin, I think the problem is because so many of these multi-level brands pigeonhole detailers into having to do this 3,000, this 4,000, this massive ticket price that everybody else has said people suck at selling, but we're determined to make these people sell this massive ticket price, and they probably don't know how to sell. I said, Justin, exactly. I think there's hundreds, if not thousands, that just are gone. I said, I think we've already had this wipeout. I said, there's so many people in these groups now that there's some people I don't see anymore. Like they're just gone.
It's true. I used to see them answer questions
out of business,
and then they just gone. I agree. And I do think a big part of it has to do with the way coatings have been pushed, and the way, like, it always kills me when I see a lot of people say like, oh, I only want to do coatings. I don't even want to do anything anymore. Like, I don't even want to clean a car. And I'm thinking, you're going to back yourself in to what that's like McDonald's saying we only want to sell beef. Well, anyone that sells chicken is going to kick their ass. Like, I mean, it's just, that's what's going to happen. So they have to be diverse to some degree. I'm not saying you got to start doing oil changes, but like, if you want to do coatings, the natural progression is getting someone